Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
In a significant development, the government allowed about 15 leaders from the National Conference to meet their political leaders, Farooq Abdullah and Omar Abdullah, who have been under detention in Kashmir. The PDP also says that several leaders now have been allowed to meet Mehbooba Mufti. What does this mean? Is this the beginning of easing restrictions in Kashmir since the abrogation of Article 370, which happened on the 5th of August? Is the government trying to normalize the political space in the state? That's what we're going to look at in Government Matters today with me, Ruhi Tiwari. Our Home Ministry reporter Ananya Bharadwaj, who spent a significant amount of time in Kashmir in the past few weeks, is with us in the studio today. Ananya, how do you read this? First, can you explain whether political leaders were earlier also allowed to meet those under detention, and how is what has happened now different?
So Ruhi, what is significant, rather different this time, is that a complete delegation of say 15 party members, including the presidents, have gone and met these political leaders, which was not allowed till now. So on and off, some party leaders in fact were going what the administration had told ThePrint, and we had also done a report on this, that on and off these party members do go meet Mr. Abdullah and in fact even Mehbooba Mufti to discuss what is going on the ground and to give them a feedback from the ground, because they were completely cut off from what was happening. But then it was just like one or two party workers going not very regularly to meet these people. But yes, of course it is significant because the block development elections are coming up, and if they have allowed say a significant delegation to go and discuss what is going to happen next, and obviously they are going to be discussing the strategy what they are going to take in this upcoming election. So of course this is a significant move, or you can say easing out of restrictions. So the first step also was to of easing out these restrictions was to move out these leaders who were in this detention center that they had made at Centur Hotel in Srinagar to their houses. So in fact 3 or 4 leaders, including Farooq Abdullah, they were shifted to their house because they were not comfortable there. And this is what the administration told us, that is the first step of easing out these restrictions, that at least they are being moved from the detention center to their houses. So that was the first step, and of course now this that has come up, that they're allowing people to go and have these meetings for the election that is coming up.
Right now, both the PDP and the NC have said that they don't want to contest in the Block Development Council elections. But from the government side, would you read this as an attempt to begin normalizing the political space in the state?
Ruhi, that is one way to look at it, because as I said, it's significant that they have allowed 15 people, including MPs, to go. Like a delegation from Jammu had gone to meet Mufti, and a significant delegation to meet Mr. Abdullah also at his residence on Gupkar Road. So of course this is one thing that you can say that is happening, but another thing which we have been getting from party workers who met Mr. Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah and Omar Abdullah, have been saying that that they do not wish to be a part of this exercise, because since their leaders are still under detention, they cannot strategize, they cannot think of being a part of this exercise that is coming up. So when we spoke to these leaders, local leaders, they told us that this easing out of restriction on letting the delegations go meet these leaders also is a bit of a sham, because if their leaders are not on the ground, if they've been out of touch from the ground for so long, since August 5th, since they've been detained. So till they are released, they are not going to think about being a part of this exercise, this political exercise that they've been invited for.
Now, Ananya, talking of restrictions, you went to Kashmir in a couple of phases, and so can you tell us, just to refresh our memories, about the kind of restrictions that existed? Then we'll talk about the easing out that's happening.
So if we look at it initially in the first week of post-August 5th till Eid, if I can set that timeline, all the roads were shut. There was heavy military presence. Then there was, of course, a curfew that was imposed, and all the schools were shut, the businesses were down, the landlines were shut, and this was for the first time that even the landlines were shut.
So complete communication.
Complete clampdown, and they started easing out in phases. So first the landlines were opened. So now if we look at the situation, it's much better than what it was, though the restrictions still are there. Landlines have started working, about 45,000 of them are working, though there's a lot of network issue whenever you want to even call somebody in Kashmir on the landline also. I mean, it takes a lot of time for the call to get through.
So just to now understand what is the current status, because you're saying about 45,000 landline connections have been opened up. Of course, there are network issues, but what are the restrictions that continue to exist? First, let's talk about that, then we'll talk about what have been eased out.
So currently, Ruhi, the main thing is that the internet is still down. The mobiles are not working because they had said that at least the BSNL connection in which postpaid BSNL connections will open up. Then they said that the incomings at least will be opened up, but that has not happened till now. So internet connectivity is down, the mobiles are not working. Yes, the landlines have started working. They also opened that up in phases. Earlier there were about 10,000 landlines and it became 15,000, and now about 45,000 landlines have started working. Restrictions also in terms of military presence has been eased out a little. There was a complete curfew when during the period of Eid and after obviously August 5th, but then in the uptown areas, we had also written a story about that. In the uptown area Kashmir, which includes Rajbagh and all the where all the public offices are situated, the traffic is moving normally and the schools have opened up. The downtown area, which includes Nohata and all where the Jama Masjid is located, and other areas that is mostly the industrial hub of Kashmir, where all the handicrafts and all the main markets for the handicrafts is there. That market and that area is still under lockdown. In fact, heavy military presence is still seen there, but even then a lot of restrictions in terms of movement has been eased out in that area as well. So now you could at least see traffic moving and people going to school, like locals going to their offices, and in somewhat areas the schools have also reopened, though the people are not sending their children to school because of security issues and of course fear. Another very important thing that we were told by the administration was a lot of infiltration that was happening from the borders. Mr. Ajit Doval, NSA, had also said that there are about 230 militants that are doing the rounds. In fact, the latest figure that we got was about 450 sightings that have happened in Kashmir. So of course it's on high alert. There are reports that are being sent by the intelligence agencies to the center on a regular basis on these sightings and what they are doing to stop the infiltration. All that is happening, but restrictions by and large have been eased out in phases, though internet and mobile still remains a big issue.
Right, so landlines open, some schools have opened, as you said, military presence on the roads has gone down. Has business activity been revived?
That's also another important thing. Business activity, as we could see, if we could compare it from what it was in Eid, now at least some shops have started opening up in the morning for a few hours and then after sundown for a few hours. So throughout the day they do remain shut, but then in the morning for a few hours you could see after namaz they'll open up their shops for 2-3 hours, and then after the evening namaz for 2-3 hours, so that people could go buy their daily groceries and things like that. Some markets have also near the Polo View, which is also again uptown Kashmir, some of these flea markets are also open. But then another side of the story is when you speak to these vendors, they say that they've been forced to open their markets to show that everything is normal. So, but the police, however, have told us that they're not forcing anyone. In fact, one of the vendors also said that they are being paid 1,000 rupees for a day to open their shop, and they were quite enraged at that. So, this is what the situation is right now in Kashmir. If you go and just see around, everything would seem normal, but when you talk to people, they are still angry. So
it is under the garb of normalcy, as it were. Ananya, very quickly before we close, do you have any sense from the government here, from the Home Ministry, about the path going forward? What do they have a strategy in mind in terms of opening up further restrictions?
There's a plan charted out every now and then looking at the current situation. So that is what they say. They as I said, that regular intelligence reports are being generated from the ground and being shared with the center. So, according to those intelligence reports, like as I said, 450 sightings have been made of these infiltrators in Kashmir. So, a red alert was issued and an evening curfew was imposed. So, depending upon what the daily report is, it keeps changing every now and then. However, they are planning to ease out these restrictions elections, they planned to start the incoming of the mobile phones also, but then it got delayed because of these inputs. Right. So that is why there's no specific strategy that they have for Kashmir as of now. But yes, of course, since the block development elections are just around the corner, and I mean, it will be a first big political activities after the big decision that has happened. So it still remains to be seen how people react, and if they'll go out to vote or not. How will these leaders react? Will they come out and, you know, tell people to vote or not? How will it go? It all depends. So I think the strategy will be according to what happens on the ground.
So it's essentially, it's a day-to-day update, that the review that the government takes, and there is no long-term strategy for now. Well, Ananya, telling us whether the government allowing party delegations to meet leaders like the Abdullahs and Mehbooba Mufti means that it is the beginning of easing out restrictions in the state, and she also tells us that there is no long-term plan that the government has, or no proposal. It's just reviewing the situation on an everyday basis. Thank you so much, Ananya, for being with us. Thank you for watching Government Matters. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel.